Tippy time, my damies, Topcat here and welcome back to the channel. Today I got a build for you that is based around our exotic and its interaction with the kinetic surge mod. This solar hunter build is about making great burst DPS easy and repeatable. If this build sounds a bit like you, I'll break down the glitched parties and our damage scales in the second segment of the video. If you like it and want to use it and want to see how I've been running it, after tapping that thumbs, just check out the class breakdown along with some weapon options in both the third and fourth segments. I'll leave it down in the description below. With that said, let's begin our breakdown with the exotic, the Celestial Nighthawk. This modifies the golden gun to fire one single high damage shot. This was once our go-to, but with exotics like the Star Eater scales and the introduction of Solar 3.0, it's had to take a bit of a back seat, until now. We're using the standard knock 'em down aspect. This firstly will refund our melee energy on kills whilst we are radiant. It will also enhance our supers. As we are using the marksman super, we have extended duration, which is good. As with only one bullet in our golden gun, we do not want to whiff. Your Goldie deals massively increased precision damage, over penetrates and creates orbs on precision hits, and it benefits from being radiant. I'm using Ember Torches. Our powered melee attacks against combatants make you and nearby allies radiant. This takes our damage from 308 to 387. But for some reason the kinetic surge mod is also stacking with our super, but only with the Celestial Nighthawk. With 3 surge mods it pushes it up to 471,000. If you want to run a tractor cannon or someone else in your fire team has a tether, it jumps to 612,000. Now why use the Celestial over the Star Eaters, you say? This actually will now out damage the Goldie Star Eater combo in 1/3 the time. And we're only going to need 1 armor charge compared to the 4 orbs that the Star Eater scales require. And as we all know, the easier the damage, the more popular it is. But where it shines is in general play with activities with multiple mini-bosses, yellow bars and champions. The exotic's second perk states enemies eliminated by the shot explode and grant you super energy. It's always 35% of your super energy, which means we get the Star Eater like damage thanks to the kinetic surge, with the replayability similar to that of the Shards of Galanor. Now the bad juju is a great option to play into this power fantasy. Its perk String of Curses is fully loaded. Not only does it feed us tons of super energy based on the stacks, but it's got a built-in damage perk. Pulse Rifle's just got a buff against red and orange bars. And because we're locked into that kinetic surge for some great super, this pulse feels as good as it did back in Destiny 1. Now because we're locked into the kinetic surge, the Izzy will obviously pair quite well with this build. However, I've been using the Succession so I can suppress and debuff my own targets when I'm running solo. Fortissimo is also a really good option, but whatever way you really want to go, it doesn't matter as long as you're making the most of that kinetic surge. We double back to our class. I'm using the Gambler's Dodge and the On Your Mark aspect. This is primarily because I want those 3 fragment slots, but it will also make your weapon handling and reload better whilst also giving us that free melee energy when we dodge. I've gone with a knife trick and firebolts, with Season 20's artifact making this extra juicy. These are the perfect firebug combo. However, in future seasons I'll obviously swap these to something more like the fusion grenade, as I don't imagine firebolts to stay this potent forever. I've leant into booms over heals, with Ember of Ashes, Ember of Eruption and Ember of Char. With these 3 fragments we can trigger that ignition loop with ease. And actually the higher the health bar the targets have when you scorch and ignite them, the better this actually is. Ember of Combustion, final blows cause targets to ignite and create a fire sprite. This allows our precision weapon to do AoE damage. And because our Goldie can over penetrate, I can still make as many as 8 orbs from 1 attack. Now my mods are fairly generic. I'm double stacking hands on for bonus super energy on melee kills. Whenever I'm running an exotic build for super, I'm always going to try and mod for it. I'm also running 80 intellect, but this isn't strict in order to make this build play right. We got space for a siphon mod. I want a steady stream of orbs as I tend to pop a super every 45 odd seconds, so I want that surge up full time. But trust that shouldn't be an issue, and you'll be feeding yourself and your allies super after super. We use heavy handed also for orbs on melee kills, and because we got endless melees, we double stacked impact induction to reduce our grenade cooldown. Double stack up our concussives, triple stack up our kinetic surges, and on our cloak we use a Reaper mod and a time dilation mod. I've left a dim in the description below, but feel free to mix and match. It's mainly about the kinetic surge and the radiant, most else can be moved around. As I stated before, this build suits activities with lots of champs and mini bosses, but it's also really great for encounters with a short DPS window. What makes its burst DPS so good is the sense that your feet stay planted. People love the T-Crash with the falling star. Celestial actually does more damage than this now, and we don't have to reposition after the fact. Does it replace the Star Eaters? For Goldie, yes. Blades, no. But it is more accurate and consistent for damage, and more repeatable. But I'll let you guys make up your own mind. Until next time, tippy time my damies, what a tie.